commentary and expounding we're doing. Okay, so going into Matthew 21, 1 to 11. Okay, so we are going to be, I'll be putting on my shared screen here. Let's see here. So we're going to be going with Matthew 21, 1 to 11. And then, and I'm reading from the Aramaic New Testament here. Okay, Aramaic Bible in plain English. And then as he approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage by the side of Mount of Olives, Yahushua sent two of his disciples, and he said to them, "Go into this village that is opposite of you, and at once you will find a donkey that is tied and a colt with her. Loose them and bring them to me. And if a man says anything to you, say to him, they are in need by our master, and immediately he will send them here." But this that happened was so that the thing that was spoken by the prophet would be fulfilled, which says, "Say to the daughter of Zion, behold, your king comes to you meek and riding on a donkey upon a colt, the foal of a she-donkey." I believe the she-donkey is a reference to the Septuagint. The Septuagint might actually mention the actual sex of the donkey. So that might be why the Aramaic is saying a she-donkey. The disciples went and did as Yahushua had commanded them, and they brought the donkey and the colt, and they placed their garments on the colt, and Yahushua rode upon it. And a multitude of the crowds were spreading their clothes on the road, and others were cutting down branches from trees and laying them in the road. But the crowds which were going before him and coming after him were crying out. They were saying, "Hosanna to the Son of David. Baruch is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Hosanna in the highest." And when he entered Jerusalem, the whole city was stirred, and they were saying, "Who is this?" But the crowds were saying, "This is Yahushua the prophet, who is from Nazareth of Galilee." So we see here, by the way, the scripture doesn't tell you, but you can pretty much find this reference from the book of Zechariah.
Yeah.
So that's why it says this has happened that was spoken by the prophet. The prophet that they're referring to in Matthew here is Zechariah.
Chapter 9, verse 9.
Yes, you have chapter 9, verse 9. It's also mentioned supposedly in Isaiah 62:11. And then obviously this event is reiterated in John 12:15. So I'm going to write these notes down for future study here. I like to do this sometimes. So Matthew 21:4. You can cross with John 12:15. And they are quoting from Zechariah 9:9 and John 12:15. So what we're going to do right now, brothers and sisters, since we have so much time left over for today, which is unusual, what we're going to do here is we're going to actually finish a study that we started last night. So we just finished our half-tour reading today. We kind of got started actually on time because we had a sister come on very early with us. Sister Sally. So unfortunately her battery died. Hopefully later on when she finds her charger, she can get back on. But we just finished our half-tour reading. So we're going to be we are going to be finishing last night's study. So I really recommend, if you haven't seen the other portions we did earlier today, definitely check them when you can. We did Micah 5:6, chapter 5 to chapter 6 earlier for the prophets portion. We also did Numbers 23 to 25 earlier. So, all right, I think Sally finally was able to charge her phone there. She's back on. All right, so we're going to be oh, go ahead, Sister Sadia.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. What is this that most people are acknowledging for tomorrow, like the day of the Holocaust Day and all that. Nevaeh, get out of there. The Holocaust Day, all the bad things that, or like the trouble that people went through, that are like marker days. Do you know what that's all about? Like, there's a name they call it.
Never heard of
Um,
that. I've
No, I
never,
haven't heard anything.
I never heard of a
Okay.
day of mourning for that or
Hey, get out of there.
like, I've
Sorry.
never heard of that. I've heard of what the Native Americans do for Thanksgiving, but I've never heard of anything for
No, me neither.
for the for the Holocaust, the people that died in the Holocaust. I don't even know. I haven't even met any Jewish people that even do anything like that. So that's news to me. So I never even knew they had a day where they're supposed to.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I never heard of it. Never heard.
Okay.
Of it.
So like,
Yeah.
I guess tomorrow they recognize that the Jews were massacred, and then there was other things that also happened on this day. So I'm
Huh.
I forgot what the name of it is. Darn it, I can't think of it. Slipped my mind. But
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that because, you know, people, are most of your, I guess I would say, Hebrew, Jewish, or not Jewish, but
Mhm.
the ones that come across, they're all recognizing it. In Israel, they're recognizing it. And so I
Yeah.
just kind of wonder, what is that? You know,
Yeah, I don't recognize stuff like that. Like even
man-made,
I don't
like
recognize
it's man-made.
man-made anniversaries. I don't recognize stuff like that. Like even when I see people fasting for the Native American thing, I used to do that, but then I started realizing that, you know, Yahuwah gave us certain days to memorialize. He did not give us the okay to memorialize man-made days. So I don't do that. It's nothing personal. I just don't recognize man-made holidays or man-made days. I will not recognize it. I'll give respect to people on those days and I'll say, I'm sorry for what what your ancestors have gone through, but I will not acknowledge it. I will not celebrate it. That those are inventions of man. Yahuwah gave us actually 30 days to mourn for people in scripture. So as far as that's concerned, you're supposed to move on after a month. So people that mourn for their relatives, I understand how horrific those events have been, but at a certain point, you're supposed to move on, even according to scripture. You're supposed to move on and let it be. And whatever, you're not supposed to mourn for your relatives 5, 10, 20 years later. That's not natural. So people that, want to annualize and memorialize their ancestors they've lost. I don't know. You're kind of like, I'm not even trying to be mean or anything, but you're kind of creeping into the idolatry area. When you start constantly thinking about a family member that died decades ago or even more, and that own family member would not want you mourning over them that long. So that's you're creeping into like the necrophilia type of thing. You're creeping into the, I don't know, some people, I know in Mexico they have the Day of the Dead. And so you're kind of creeping into that area where you start having shrines for lost ones and all that. You're creeping into a very bad area that really is unscriptural. Yahuwah gave us a specific time for mourning for a reason. He doesn't want us to get too attached to our lost loved ones. That's the point. So I don't feel the need or necessity to memorialize any type of day of mourning for people that have died. I don't feel the necessity of it. Even in scripture, they didn't separate days for mourning for people. They had a month and that was it. They mourned for a month at most and they were done. So, that's just my opinion on it. in general, I don't memorialize any secular holidays. So just for people out there, I don't memorialize any secular holidays. I don't celebrate anything secular. So that it's nothing personal. I will not celebrate anything secular. Unless it's in the word for us to celebrate it, I don't need to celebrate it. So regardless of how well-meaning it is, I'm not going to celebrate it, because at the end of the day, we're fallible, we're humans, we're fallible, and we make these memorializations with the best intended in our hearts. But at the end of the day, Yahuwah gave us days to memorialize for him. He never gave us, the okay to memorialize humans, and all that. So you're almost getting into like the idolatry gray area there. Because think about it, when you do Veterans Day, who are you celebrating? Are you thinking about Yahuwah on Veterans Day? No, you're thinking about men that have died for you. So you're venerating mortal men above what they should be. And that's the point that Yahuwah brings to us, is don't do that. Okay, men are men. Men are fallible, mankind is fallible. Don't put them higher than they should be.
You know what? I talked to a vet once about those days, and he says, I don't get it. He goes, we have memories of our loved one, some of our brotherhood that have been blown up right in front of us, and everybody's having picnic and parties and getting drunk. And what is that all about? He goes, this is all man-made. It's a shame, he said, that our country doesn't do something different for those who have served, those that are handicapped, those that are half blown up.
Yes.
That's what they should be pouring their money into.
Take
Not
care
all
of their
these stupid.
families.
Yep.
Yeah. Take care of their families, support them. If they cared so much about veterans, why do veterans, when some veterans that are alive from wars like Vietnam, they can't even support themselves when they come back to America? If they really cared about the veterans, they would give them free retirement. They would give them free income for the rest of their lives. If they really cared about them, all this tax dollars, where's it going to? So that's why people that try to put shame.
Yeah. And I get all that, because I will never do any of that, never, because I'm not selling my DNA to the world. My sister did it, and she said she wished she never did it, because now all of that is being debunked, and it's not so great as we thought. And we didn't know that. I mean, I would have known that. I know, but you already did it, and that's okay. My sister did it, But
let me tell you one thing though. So I did it, but then my brother did the 23andMe. He is about 8
Hey
years.
guys, we're still on the record here. We can talk more about this off the record. It's fine. I just want to kind of close the live here. So I just didn't want to. We can talk more about